Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jump Up Supercast, the only podcast on the internet willing to admit that Funky Kong by himself is Game of the Year 2018. I'm Will, and joining me today, Brandon.
I know why they charge $60 for that game now. It's because it has a reversible cover.
Noah.
Yes, it's me. I have no witty comeback.
You almost did a Tim Allen. Moose.
You joke, but seeing the slate of 2018 games, Donkey Kong might be my game of the year. We'll see.
Oh my god.
And Saf.
Give Funky Kong a son and he might just beat Kratos.
Funky and his son try to make it to the top of DK.
Look, I'm just saying 2018 hasn't been all that great, alright? Like, it's just, whatever. It's fine.
Well, I mean, I think it's probably just a whiny little baby.
And Tropical Freeze is, one of the best games ever made, so,
Don't worry, Muzzy isn't a father yet, so he'll never understand.
Yeah, I'll never
understand the emotion.
I just,
Unlike me and Saf.
I'm not capable of understanding the emotional appeal of God of War, like Will and Saf over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Saf is my dad, and we both felt emotions when we played God of War.
Did you guys play together? Oh,
yeah, we played together. I'm his 9-year-old son, and he showed me God of War.
We take care of our sons.
Boy.
So how's everyone doing, including my dad?
I'm doing fantastic. Because I just bought Donkey Kong Country for Tropical Freeze for $60, more than what it originally cost.
New funky mode.
In new funky mode. It's great. It's good.
New funky mode. Listen, let me tell you something about video games, boys.
Oh?
Okay.
I like them most of the time, but playing Tropical Freeze, I've enjoyed it quite a bit. And the thing that we used to do more on this podcast in the first couple weeks was just talk about like the games that we were playing. We've had to stop that more recently because we've had a lot of big news this week. But this week it's been slow. It's that E3 where you can feel it coming, but you haven't quite got the stuff there yet. So I want to check in. We're about to talk a lot in these coming months about what's going to be announced. But let's talk about the games that we're playing right now. Okay? How about that?
Okay.
We appreciate the moment. Be mindful of where you are,
Yes.
Right now. Do you just want to go further in depth on Tropical Freeze since we're already there?
I would love to. All right, so Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze came out on Switch today. I already played it on Wii U 4 years ago. Beat the game. Fantastic game. But I will say, it looks gorgeous on the handheld screen. It looks really, even though it's 644p. That doesn't matter. All right, internet nerds, calm down. It looks great. Anyway,
Shooting hard on the internet.
I'm just
Mooseville shoots hard.
exactly. Damn right.
I do think it is funny that the same internet nerds, to use Moose's term, at the start of this generation were like, yo, 900p versus 1080p is a Xbox One killer. It's killed the Xbox One. Assassin's Creed is 900p. What are we doing? And then like this game is an upgrade to 1080p, and people are like, there's no visual upgrades, and it's seems like we're being very selective. 1080,
and that's a big jump, but no one's talking about that. So I beat the entire. I 100%ed World 1 so far on the Switch version. Got all the puzzle pieces, got all the Kong letters. I have a few minor nitpicks with this version though. That I feel
okay, here we go. We're doing it.
The need to bring up. Okay, so number one, when you start the game, you have the option of original mode, plays exactly like the Wii U version, right? Or you can play new funky mode, right? Which gives you the option to play as Funky or Donkey Kong, right? But
you can swap on the world map.
Yeah, you could swap on the world map. But the wording implies that even in funky mode, Donkey Kong has a new heart. An extra heart, and I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I was like, I'm no child. I don't want an extra heart in Donkey Kong. So I played original mode, but I was hoping I'd be able to switch back and forth just so like when I want to go back to collect things, I could just, cheese it with Funky Kong, but I cannot do that, and I'm annoyed.
Now, counterpoint to this, I've also played this game on the Switch. And the game says to you, no matter what mode you pick, once you pick this mode, you cannot swap back to the normal mode, to the other mode. The game says that to you when you're selecting.
But I only have the option of playing the entirety of the game in baby mode or in regular mode. I don't get to mix and match, and I don't like that.
Because hey man,
look,
swallow your pride. You should have swallowed your pride. Your hubris did this to you.
No, I refuse. So now I'm gonna have to
You did get warned, so that's all on you.
No, all right, whatever. You should be able to solve.
But I think the reason they did that was because they probably did alter a bunch of stages to make it so it wasn't completely easy or super easy with Funky Kong. I assume they did some changes.
I think the thing is, in Funky mode you could swap to Donkey Kong though. So I don't know if they actually did change the stages.
No, the biggest changes that they had with Funky mode, I guess we should mention the things that you can do as Funky, since that is the new content in the game. You can double jump. You don't get hurt by spikes, and you don't get hurt by spikes. You can breathe forever, and you can hover on your way down. So basically, you have every other character's powers at the same time.
Like
combined.
Like Dixie, Cranky, and Diddy, like all meshed into one character.
And minor thing that they did that I noticed when I watched a stream of it is that if you die with the DK normally and you get a Kong letter, the KONGs that like help you unlock the secret levels, if you die you have to recollect it. With Funky you don't. It's maintained even after you die.
Oh, that's nice. Well,
yeah, so that's a little extra change they did. But
so, I mean, I'm kind of wishing I played in Funky mode now, but whatever.
You're a loser. It's okay. But I want to talk about one thing that Tropical Freeze does that I'm only realizing on a second playthrough, which is that they go through so many ideas in one level, right?
Yeah.
Like the design of a Mario level is here's a concept, and Mega Man does this too, right? The basic of platformers is introduce this concept, test your understanding of the concept, and then you build up to like a mastery, and then you move on, right? And let you build up and discard ideas through each level. With Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, the levels are longer than most platformers. They're probably like 2 to 3 times as long. And so because of that, like, there's one level in World 2 that I just finished earlier today, and there's a thing where there's leaves that move down, and that's one level. That's one idea. That could be a whole level on itself, right? Of these wafting leaves, they go horizontally, they drop down, they get blown up. There's also horns that happen throughout the level, which can boost you up whenever the horns blow in time with the music, and they can shoot enemies out, and they can shoot collectibles out, and they can help you gain altitude. And then they also add in like destructible platforms. So, and then eventually at the end, they have you jumping on those leaves, which are while they're drifting down, are getting blown by the horns, which you then have to jump off to use the horns to go higher as the platforms that you're walking on are being destroyed. And all of that combined makes for like these levels that when you finish, you're like, oh man, that was 5 to 10 minutes. That was an adventure, right? Like, and the game doesn't have like a low number of levels either. Like it's only slightly less than New Super Mario Brothers U.
I mean, yeah, so each level it's like you said, so long, but it's like it introduces so many different ideas. Like, it's an adventure in of itself. Each individual level, right? It's insane. I adore this game so much. I want to play more of it right now.
I love it, and I
also love the I also love the imagination that they take. Like, there are certain levels there. It's like when they are there's a stage there where it's like they're like taking up ice lollies and they're chopping it up into ice blocks, and you see the process as you advance through the level.
Oh yeah, every platform, every obstacle, every little thing in this game, you will see like the logic behind why that's there. Like, platforms will be connected to something, obstacles will be thrown from somewhere. Whatever it is, they will explain why it's what is happening is happening. It's not just floating blocks.
Yeah, creativity is just everywhere in every single part of that level design, and I love that game.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
Like just that one level I mentioned with the falling leaves, it's not just that the leaves randomly fall. All the trees where the leaves fall from, there's a woodpecker in the background that pecks at the tree, and the pecking is what knocks the leaves loose. And you're like, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
you didn't have to do that at all.
Attention to detail is incredible, and like not many people are gonna notice that, to be honest. But like, but the fact that they put in that work to do that, it's just great. I love it. Retro, you're fantastic. I love you.
Yeah, and we'll see what you do. Retro will be making a Captain Falcon character action game. You heard it here first.
Oh no, it's Donkey Kong 3. Donkey Kong
It's
3
not.
genre.
It is not Donkey Kong 3, but that's a topic.
I believe
for
it's
another
not
day.
Donkey Kong 3.
It is Donkey Kong 3.
We'll get there eventually. But Saf, or I mean Brandon, you were saying something about Donkey Kong. Do you have any deep thoughts on our dear friend DK?
I love this game. It's one of my favorite games. Like, it's gonna be one of my favorite games ever. I just love it so much. It's my second favorite Donkey Kong Country game. So that's pretty high praise.
Because you have spoken on the list before about how Donkey Kong Country 2 is like the SNES game you would recommend to people, which is high praise.
So, I mean, this game's incredible. It's beautifully designed in every single way, whether it's, the actual level design itself, the characters, the enemies, which some people don't like the enemies in this game, but I adored them. I thought they were all...
The Snowmads are better than the Kremlings. Mark it down.
Oh, no, they're not. Shut up.
Music, too. The music.
David Wise.
Oh,
A
that
30-minute version of the Windmill Hill song on my iPod, and I'll listen to it all the fucking time.
that soundtrack is just incredible, man. Like this is David Wise's best job ever, and he's done some great soundtracks. So, man, I love the way this. You have to play this game with headphones. You have to, or a great sound system.
So, I mean,
please.
All that being said about this game and how much I love it, I'm not spending $60 on it again.
Which, I mean, I get it. Like, if you own it on Wii U, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you did not own it, buy it. You need this game. Like,
And maybe I just want to shelve that Wii U, baby.
Yeah.
Maybe I just want to free up space.
If you don't have a Wii U and you do not own this game, buy it.
buy
It is worth
Tropical
$60.
Freeze.
Oh,
If
definitely.
you have a Wii U, though, you can get it for $20. So
Well, maybe if you're buying physical, digital, it's off some of the stores,
They,
which is
they
which
took
is
it off. It's
took
gone.
it off.
digital. Don't be a
It's-
digital dummy anyway, because you can probably get it for cheaper physical.
So yeah, the Tropical Freeze is good. But Saf, a low key thing that I've wanted to talk to you about for months, because you've been quietly doing it, is that you have through I guess through this podcast you've decided to start playing Yakuza, and Noah has as well. And I want you to tell me about your thoughts on this dang Yakuza series. Where did you start with the first game?
I've seen a lot of the Zero, and it's like, you know
Zero,
what?
yes.
I would like to play the first game. And luckily enough for me, there was a remaster out for that first game, and I started playing that game.
Kiwami, baby.
Mm-hmm. And I gotta say, I've enjoyed it so far. Like, it has some of the same zaniness as as Zero has in the structure and the stories it tells.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a couple of problems that I have with it, where it's like bosses have way too much health, insane amounts of health. Like they just do simple string combos as well. And there's like one boss that just has 3 moves that you can just kind of move around, and then it's just a waiting game, just taking off his health. And the other one is like Majima's character, where he, in the first game, you see him go a little more crazier and crazier. And for whatever reason, in Zero, he goes a little more crazier and crazier, and you see him progress that way. But in the first game, he just starts out as fucking insane and starts randomly fighting you for no good reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird to see him do that significant jump between those two games. But otherwise, it seems to be pretty okay so far. Like it's fun in the main story. It's got quite a gripping gangster story so far, but the side missions are quite crazy. But aside from that, it's been all right.
The Majima thing is interesting because basically this was like a critique that I saw online when the game came out. I'm more okay with it than I think some hardcore fans. But they turn it up. In the first game, like he shows up a couple times, where with this one, with the Kiwami, because Majima grew so popular over time through the series, they made like what is like the Majima.
Yeah, the Majima Anywhere system.
Yeah, Majima Anywhere. There we go. And it's like, and it's. I mean, I laugh. I like when you're like just exploring and you just hear him go like, Kiryu-san. You just hear him in the distance. He's like a shark getting louder and louder as he gets closer and closer to you. It's very funny, but yeah, it is weird because it's like.
I heard that name and I was like, this is the greatest name for a video game system ever. Just the really Majima Anywhere system.
Anywhere. You'll just be wandering around and this crazy man will show up to fight you. But that's exciting.
Yeah, and you trigger him from doing certain
good
things
news.
as well. Mm-hmm.
You still have 5 games to get through, Saf, so get ready.
That's why I think it just seems a little daunting, you know, to get through this franchise. Because it's just like there's so many. And luckily with like PS4, it's like you got 0, you got Kiwami, you got Kiwami 2 coming up. But then making the jump from that to 6 feels a little intimidating, you know what I mean? Because it's like...
I mean, it's interesting because like I would say that I played 6, the first like third of it or so when I had the demo. And they do a decent job of introducing you to all the characters that have mattered in the past. They are relatively self-contained stories. 2 and 3 especially are very self-contained.
Yeah, I believe that.
And so you're really only building off 4 and 5 when you get to 6. And even 5 is pretty self-contained too.
I feel still like 4th, if you jump into the 4th game, it does it's good enough because it does a good enough job introducing to you to what happened previously.
Yeah.
Like
you can sum up most of the things you need to do in a paragraph, you know?
Yeah. It's just this thing where it's like, I mean, it's just a mental thing, I guess. Like, you see that 6 and you're like, oh, man. Like, you know.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. So.
Let's see.
I'd
so
like to play
that's exciting, though. I'm happy that other people are playing a game that I like. Yakuza sadly got sent to die against God of War, which is the best-selling PS4 exclusive ever. Or fastest-selling. 3.1 million in 3 days. Very crazy number.
I mean, Mario did it faster, but that's okay.
It's okay. We don't worry. We're not here for that. And let's see. And let me check sheet of paper. Squint's eyes. Brandon has been playing Galgun 2. So we're gonna move on to the next part of the show.
Way to disappoint the audience.
No, it's fine. Brandon, how's Galgun?
You know what? Galgun is pretty good. I've been streaming it the last couple weeks.
This is a chance we can point ourselves to the Twitch channel. Full playthrough of Galgun 2 is on there.
I did.
That's the kind of filth we have on our
you
Twitch
beat it already?
Well, yes, but there is multiple endings.
All right.
So, yeah, I'm probably gonna play through a couple different endings at least.
I would just like to point out that Brandon promised a complete playthrough of Kirby Star Allies, which he has yet to complete, but he finishes this garbage game.
Okay.
Hey, first of all, it's not garbage.
So how dare you call it garbage?
Oh,
I bought Brandon Tokyo Mirage Sessions to play and beat, and he's not even gone to the first dungeon yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, I have. Actually.
What calls to Brandon calls to Brandon.
Yeah, exactly. And I still have played through a ton of Kirby, and I said I was gonna beat it, and I will.
Just you wait. He beat
I didn't
it.
give a time
He beat it
limit.
He beat it with Galgun too.
I spent half a day earning that money to buy Brandon, my good friend Brandon, Tokyo Mirage Session as a gift. And this is how he repays
Only
it.
because Brandon was complaining about censorship in that game. He did it as a meme.
Those darn vagina bones.
But Galgun, I mean, it's all right. Like, it's not the best game ever. It is what it is. Like, it's fun. I think that's the only thing that really matters. It makes me laugh. It's a fun time.
how's the gyro control?
How's the HD Rumble?
So there's no HD rumble in it, but the gyro controls you can use, while aiming.
Mhm.
So if you don't know anything about Galgun, it's a rail shooter where you shoot anime school girls. Not with guns, but with I think it's called pheromone shots.
You shoot your Guma, dude.
Because they're all in love with you, and you need to calm them down because they're gonna hurt you because they're all charging at you. And it's like it's weird. Like it's like almost like a horror game.
It's an autobiographical story of Muzamil's life. That's his day to day on a regular basis.
Uh-huh.
There's angels and demons involved, and it's all very anime.
It's the sequel to the Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons.
Yes, but it's fun. It's a fun game to play, and it's got new mechanics. Each game introduces like some new stuff. Like
Now, Brandon,
yeah,
we are burying the lead a little bit. This is time for some hard-hitting games journalism right here.
okay,
You bought this game physically.
yeah,
You opened the game case.
that is true.
What did you see?
I saw, and I also called them out on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're listening, I hope you have an answer because you didn't answer me on Twitter, guys. I saw printed inside the Galgun 2 case, on the back side, was Wild Guns.
Wild
Or whatever the
Guns.
hell the subtitle.
Wild Guns.
Wild Guns.
What are you
Wilds.
doing on my cover
What are you doing?
of Galgun 2? What is happening?
What are you doing?
Ruining
on the
the
back of the
sanctity
cover?
of it.
Also,
Like, it makes no sense because neither of these games have anything to do with each other.
they're not even by the
Like
same
different
publisher, are they?
different developers.
Yeah,
Yeah, different publisher and developer. So they are not. The only thing they have in common is the word gun in their title. Who fucked this up? Is what I seriously want to know.
who and
I
how?
put them on. I put
Dave
Inti
Lang, what were you
Creates-
doing?
Inti Creates and Natsume, I put them both on blast on Twitter. I said, what is going on? And neither of them responded. So there's a conspiracy here.
We need an answer to that. I really do want to know though.
The
How does
people
that,
need to know.
literally, how does that happen though? Because it's like different.
How does this happen?
I just-
Who needs to get fired?
Yeah, who needs to?
Everyone needs to get fired.
What artwork was I gonna get though? Was I gonna get some nice Galgun artwork, but instead I got Wild Guns?
It would be funnier if like somehow Galgun artwork ended up on Wild Gun.
That would have been a treat. Oh man.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Who has the physical copy of Wild Guns on the Switch?
I hear that's actually super hard to find. Unfortunately,
Yeah, I
like,
heard
it's
that
just
too. I mean, it's on the eShop.
Very
so-
very limited print. Yeah, but how are we gonna look at the box? How are we gonna look
True,
at inside the
that's
box?
true.
Do this investigative journalism.
Also, Wild Guns. That's a great fucking game. Pick that shit up.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
You can play as a dog or a fat lady. And I liked both of those options.
All right.
But like a cool fat lady, not like an ugly fat lady. Like she's just a cool lady.
No, she's a badass.
Yeah, she's tough. It's awesome. Let me play as more like cool fat people in video games rather than like gross fat people.
Yeah, let's play. When am I gonna be in a video game?
Yeah, when?
That's what they already have a cool fat person, isn't that Mario?
That's true.
Mario's portly. He's not fat.
He's yeah. I don't know. I don't know if he's really fat.
Wario's fat.
He's
You can play
I
as
don't know.
Wario.
Okay, Wario's fat. Yes, Wario's
Yeah, more Wario's. All right, we can all agree Wario is the greatest character ever created.
Wario gives a lot of body
Second.
positivity to fat people.
Thank you, Wario.
Pikachu used
Also
to, but then
morons.
Pikachu
They're
hit the
they're
gym.
fat, too. Yeah,
Oh,
Pikachu,
yeah.
come on. Well,
Oh,
good
this
for
is
him,
the
though.
biggest piece of news.
Mm-hmm.
Pikachu was going to have a third form.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gorochu.
Holy
What?
Gorochu.
And I can only assume named after Goro from Mortal Kombat because he grows an extra set of arms and fangs.
Oh my
the
Jesus.
long lost evolution of Raichu. He's
All those schoolyard rumors were real.
Is this canon or all these rumors?
No, this is fucking true. It was
This
in
is
an
true.
interview.
This is from the mouth of the people that worked on Pokemon. They said we thought about Gorochu.
so wow. This is holy shit.
So Pokemon was that close to becoming Digimon. It was that close, you know, like adding on 2 arms and a pair of fangs is an extremely Digimon
you ever wonder
move.
if Pokemon would have just never hit it off if Gorochu was in? Like,
It would have.
I think in that same interview it was said it was only taken out not because the design was bad, but just because of game balancing issues, which is weird because Raichu sucks.
right?
He's simply too strong. Gorochu cannot be contained. But that was fun. It's fun to like talk about the video games you're playing rather than the video games you're going to play for a little, every so often. But boys, there's not, like I said, not a ton of news this week.
No.
But I do want to have a little discussion about what is coming down the road, right? We are in E3 season, We're going to be seeing a lot of games announced in just over a month's time,
Exciting.
Yeah, and so I want to talk about, like, because this week we did have a game reveal. We had a big game announcement. The third in the new Tomb Raider trilogy, right? Which, say what you will about those games, Tomb Raider is a AAA game. They put money into that game, and there was
Who would say anything bad about that game?
No, I mean, some people do, but it's whatever.
Most people haven't played that game. What the fuck?
You must. But they released a 3-minute trailer, and it's been radio. There's been no reaction I've seen online. I've not heard anyone talk about the new Shadow of Tomb Raider.
I was excited, but I mean,
I had no idea
nobody
that
else. I think only Muzzy is the only other person I know that has played Tomb Raider. Like,
I've played them, and I also, but like, it's that thing where I don't. It wasn't. They didn't have any. The announcement, I would say, did not get the reaction they were probably hoping for, right? In that the views, not a particularly high viewed trailer, right? And generally just like not a lot of conversation about it online. So then it got me thinking, what is the art of the announcement, the art of the unveil, the art of showing off your game to the world? Because when we see game announcements, excluding like the Beyond Good and Evil 2s of the world, like these people have been working on this Tomb Raider game for 2 to 3 years at this point, you know, like it's been a time in the oven, but it didn't work out. So we've decided here at the Jump Up Supercast, because we are the authority on video games of all kinds, MOBAs, sports games, every kind of game, we're the masters. What is each of us one tip, one piece of advice, one rule for your game announcement that the game publishers will hear right now and will forever adhere to these pieces of advice? Saf, I know you had one. What is your thing that you look for when you are looking at a game announcement?
Yeah, unless it's from an established popular franchise, do not announce your game with a CG fucking trailer. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Because all you're just going to do is set yourself up for disappointment when the next trailer comes out and it's not as good looking as the first one.
Mm-hmm. This is,
I don't
and even
know if I 100% agree with that.
No,
It's like-
unless it's a popular franchise or unless it's a sequel or anything like that, don't do CG.
I guess so. Like with the new IP, that's weird, right? It's like I don't know anything about this game, but I think CG trailers are nice for like setting the tone, of things. It's like
like Red Dead Redemption is a perfect example.
Right, yeah.
But that's a story-driven game, though, right?
Yeah.
We already know what the gameplay is going to be for the most part.
well, Red Dead's also in game. Those all in game.
Yeah, that's true. That's all in game, though. Yeah.
That's true.
I don't know. Like, I mean, I mostly agree with you. Like, when I see CG trailers
Dogs,
like
I
at
feel like
E3, I usually like roll my eyes, But everyone loves that Watch Dogs reveal. You know what I mean? Like, it's.
But now we look at it and we say that was a lie, right? Like,
I guess
this has been the generation. Like, this is the the first big example I can think of is Killzone 2, right? Back in the early PS3 generation, where they showed that trailer, and that game looked not like that trailer at all, right? But, like, in this generation, it's become more common, right? Especially early on, the era of downgrades of, like, you look at the game that they show at the start and then the game that they release, and it looks different, right?
Yeah.
That type of stuff, especially, I think that you can... I think I generally agree with what you're saying, Saf. I think that what you're right is that, like, don't overpromise, right? Like, that's sort of the general rule. Like, I think it's better to look at a game and see it look better over time than for it to look worse, right?
Like Nintendo loves to do that, right? Where it's like...
Yeah. I mean, the most recent example, like I was going to think of, was Kirby, right? Where Kirby looked... If you go from trailer to trailer on Kirby, you can see them improve things rather than have to scale things back.
Yeah.
But I get why they're scared, right? You get why anyone's scared because, well, I mean, there's right now in the internet age, stories last so short and there's so much
so you want
vying
to make
for
a splash
attention.
That first time you show
like we have to have it
right?
look the best we possibly can. But like in the long run, that's gonna, that's a short-term gain for a long-term harm,
Yeah.
So that's a rule. No CG trailers that are over-promising what the game.
Yeah,
is.
I'll take that. Yes, I like that rule. Yes.
All right, Muzamil.
All right.
I
love a good game announcement. All right. So this rule specifically applies to established franchises. Okay. So unfortunately, new IPs. Sorry, I don't have advice for you. But one thing I really liked from the new Smash Brothers trailer, and also Uncharted: The Lost Legacy trailer, was starting the trailer. It's a franchise we all know, right? But going into that trailer, we don't know what it is. You know, just this sense of like when you're watching as Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is such a good example of this, right? The whole beginning, like everyone is just wondering, like what's going on? Is this Tomb Raider? Is it what is this?
For people that don't remember, Uncharted: Lost Legacy opens on you in a war-torn city in what is presumably the Middle East, and you don't see the character you're playing as. You don't hear them speak for a lot of it. You just know it's a female.
And
right?
It's a female, and you see it's in India, right?
But it was India. My bad.
Yeah, but like you don't really have a feel for like what this game is yet, right? But then you see Chloe, and it's like it's the reveal, like, hey, this is Uncharted, right? That's crazy. You know,
and it was like a good 10 minutes before they get to the reveal of it being Chloe.
And so it had such an impact, right? When you realize, oh my god, this is Uncharted. You know, that's like, oh, boom! Like, I love those type of reveals. So do more of those. The new Smash is the Smash loves to do that, right? Like in the previous game, like they had this trailer where Kirby's on a fucking warp star and he's racing with the Mario Kart guys, and you're like, what? It's Kirby in Mario Kart? And no, it turns out it's Rosalina and Smash Brothers. You know, but I totally love these types of trailers. So do more of that. Make me feel surprised when I see it's your game. It's this franchise, I mean. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like, oh, okay, here's a Tomb Raider trailer. Here's a Gears of War trailer. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what game did it in a way we didn't expect? Mm-hmm. Mario plus Rabbids. Because we saw Mario plus Rabbids way before reveal, right? Yeah. We saw the whole slideshow for them pitching the game, and we all thought, oh my god, this is going to be awful. But then we see it, and like the gameplay itself was the surprise, right? Like, this is XCOM. Mario goes into Overwatch mode. Like, this is a strategy game. What is this? Like, I think that for a conference, you need a game like that. You need a game where you go, oh, what? Like, weird. You know? I think Ubisoft's gotten really good at that over time. And when you're looking at your game, have them, I'll get into that later on, but like, have a moment of surprise, right?
Yes.
Brandon, do you have a hot rule for the game publishers around the world when they're showing off their games?
I do. More boobs.
Oh my god!
I like this rule.
Oh my god!
I had to say it. No, but for real, keep it modest and family friendly, please.
Put the kids to bed.
That went the opposite direction.
But no.
But for real, we're a good Christian podcast.
We're not, but it's fun to pretend we are. What I was thinking, first I was thinking, maybe, there should be a set time of year, but it really isn't. Like, there's no time of year that's going to be best to drop your game trailer. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't really matter, honestly, because Nintendo can reveal a game at any time of the year, and everybody's going to be pumped if the trailer's good. Or, any company can. It doesn't have to be at E3.
Yeah.
I would say in the holiday season, that might be stupid, because everybody's thinking about other games.
Yeah.
Nobody really drops a trailer in the holiday season for a new game, because there's games coming out that people care about. But my thing is, for a trailer to be good, in my opinion, is keep it short and sweet. Don't make it longer than it needs to be. Because you'll lose me. I start just zoning out. I don't give a shit.
I mean, literally every Days Gone trailer, right? You just start. Eventually, your eyes just glaze over. You're like, all right, like, move on.
I think it's weird. I think Sony has the biggest problem with making a trailer too long. A lot of times during Sony's E3 press conference, I'll get excited for a trailer, and then I'm like, when the fuck is this actually going to be over?
Well, that's the thing, right? It'll start out strong, but there is a point where it's just like, I want to move on to the next thing. Like, please.
Yeah, I get it, right? I know what the game is. You can move on.
Especially if you are in a press conference, right? Yeah. Because every second that you're spent in a press conference is a second that you're not seeing something else,
Yes.
Right. I mean, unless that's all they have, but at the same time, I don't know. It's just, don't spend too much time on a trailer. Make the trailer. I think the new Smash trailer is very good because it gets everything it needs to do. Like, it hits all the right points. Like, the ones that, like, except for maybe Sap, because they didn't show any gameplay. But, Muzzy's point and my point. The point, it's short. It's sweet. It gets to the point, you're like, oh my god, Smash, and then it's over.
You know what game I think did this really well, too? And like Smash, is Dragon Ball FighterZ last year when it was unveiled.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because like you
yeah.
were saying about timing, it was at the right spot in Microsoft's conference for there to be a surprise, right? It was gameplay and it was short, right? Like you saw 10 seconds of that game, you saw a gif of it, and you say, this looks like Dragon Ball, this looks like it plays well, I can't believe that this game exists, right? Like, it hits all those notes, which is exciting.
Yes.
And yeah,
So keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
Is my tip. Maybe throw some more boobs in there.
Well, yeah, we'll see. That one depends on what it is. Let's see. And Noah, what's your rule for the gaming populace?
Mostly for, I guess this would go for more action games or like things that like fast-paced action games, or for games in general that have a special mechanic or want to show that they themselves are more unique from the other games. Focus on their main selling point well.
Yes.
Like all these, like I said, like a special mechanic that is like Celeste, for example, like with all the warp jumping and all that, the platforming and stuff. Don't drag it out too much, but give attention to those and do those parts well, because that's what will make the people excited. It'll be like, oh, this looks really cool, I want to try that. You know what I mean? You want to get that kind of feeling from people.
Super Mario Odyssey's capture mechanic. Revealing
that too.
That was
Yes.
incredible,
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
this overlaps a lot with my point, right? Which is that, like, when you are making the trailer, have something you want to show besides just the game's existence. You know, unless you are a Final Fantasy VII remake, unless you're a Shenmue 3, unless you are like a random like long shot dream game. In 2018, you're gonna need something else to get people to the table, right? And like Moose said with Mario is a good example of that. The capture mechanic, it's like, hey, besides there being the Mario stuff, look at all of this other, we want to show you this one idea of taking control of other characters, right? And if you have that one idea you want to show off in that one trailer, you avoid the bloat that Brandon said, right? You get to show off gameplay like Saf said. You get to have a surprise like Moose said. Like not having it meander with what it wants to do. Because Shadow of the Tomb Raider didn't have that. There was no like, here's the one new thing that you can do in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It was like you can.
What separates this from Rise? You know what I mean? Like, it's like.
Yeah. And so yeah, I agree. Especially like show off the thing that makes your game. I mean, that sounds obvious, but sometimes games don't do
You'd be
that.
surprised.
Sometimes,
A lot of
Yeah.
games don't do that.
Sometimes games end up like Shadow of the Tomb Raider and just don't do any of that.
And it's weird because sometimes, in some cases, like, I'm not saying Shadow of the Tomb Raider doesn't have that. It might totally have that, but for like whoever's cutting those trailers is not showing that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean,
So.
the other example I think of is that like the Mario 3D World unveil, right? Like the Mario 3D World unveil, like people were sort of like, so what is, like there's the cat suit, but like what else is there, right? And the second trailer, it's like they went completely opposite direction, right? Where they're like, here's 10 of the new things you can do in this game, right?
that trailer was incredible.
Yeah,
that
and so
second
sometimes, and so it's like you need, essentially, I think that also a thing that happens a lot is that the marketing team that makes the trailer and the games team are not communicating. You can feel when a game, when the people that are making the game are not working on the stuff that the marketing for the game, right?
Yeah.
And you can feel that disjointed thing. So I feel like this is a corporate thing. It's hard to do, I know sometimes, because sometimes people that cut the trailers don't even work at the same company as the people that are making it. But like as a director, as a producer, your job is to help manage that level, that communication, right? To show off what you want the message to be. I mean, I think a game that did that well also was God of War, right? Like the unveil was 10 minutes, which is, Brandon said, maybe too long. But you got the thing was, this is in Norse mythology, and it's about an older Kratos with his son. And I think the fact that like I can sum up what that core idea was in 2 sentences helps the game sales, right? There's a reason that it's the fastest selling exclusive this generation. where like, do you guys remember Infamous Second Son when it unveiled?
Yeah.
It was Nate Fox came out on stage, who's the director, and I like Infamous Second Son, but he spent a 5-minute preamble on stage talking about a time he got stopped by the cops. And how it sucked that he got stopped by the cops.
I don't remember this. I'm shocked I don't remember this.
Yeah, I know. So he's just like, it was awful. We're living in a fascist state. Anyways, here's Infamous. You now have smoke powers. And I was like, what? What just happened? Like, okay, all right. And the game ended up fine, but like, boy, oh boy, that didn't help that game at all, you know?
I actually have a bonus tip as well. You don't mind me sharing that? Yeah. When you have a game trailer that's ready to come out and E3 is just about 2 months away, I'd recommend you just wait until E3 because you might get a better reception than what you've just got from there.
Well, it's hard, right? Because E3 has so much going on that like there's a chance of getting lost in the shuffle. So it's like a hard thing.
Yeah, it's like some things would get overshadowed at E3. You know what I mean?
But Tomb Raider,
it's this weird balance. But I feel like Tomb Raider probably would have gotten play at E3. I don't know. It's a weird call to do it now.
Actually, it can also have the reverse effect because if people are like, there's a drought, supposedly there's a drought of all video game news, and everybody has to wait till E3. Everybody's thirsty for something. So if you pop something good, they'll go extra wild. You know what I mean?
I think Spyro is a good example of that, right? Like Spyro is getting way more attention than I thought it ever would. You know, and I think it's just,
it lit up on Twitter, right? Like, I mean, that sounds dumb, like what an old person thing to say, but like it got a big reaction.
But wasn't there like rumors about that? Wasn't there like some form of leaks or something?
I mean, there was rumblings, but I'm just saying like it was like the perfect time to show it off. You know, like no one, we weren't paying attention to kind of anything else. You know, Spyro was kind of like the only big news, and just because it had such a great showing, like I mean, every little thing these guys tweet out showing a little tease of the game just gets so much traction. You know, like it's
I think
crazy.
they would have been better off I think they would have just been better off just manufacturing a leak, a rumor of Tomb Raider, and then making that a big deal at E3.
But I think Tomb Raider did get leaked. Is the weird thing.
It did. We knew about it a year prior. Is the problem?
Are you serious?
So, like, yeah,
We knew it was called Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Everyone except Sap, apparently.
It was some guy on the bus working on a slideshow for the game, and someone took a photo of his computer and said, "Look, it's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. This guy's working on it."
Oh my god!
And the trailer got leaked like a day before.
Don't work on your
too.
game on the bus.
Ubisoft, you have a real big problem with this one. You know, like, every goddamn Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah. But that was fun. I think that every single game developer will follow every single one of these rules.
Yeah, every single one of them.
Yeah. So we saved video games. Good job, everyone.
But if all the trailers are great, does that mean none of them are great?
Oh man, you just blew my mind. Come see The Incredibles 2 in theaters this May. But you know, I think it's time for us to transition from video games to games about video games.
Whoa, shit.
Which I'm making this week. I made the game this week. All right. Last week, Brandon did a very interesting, fun game of product placement in video games. We learned about the Skittles game where you make magic out of Skittles, and that was special. We drank the Matrix. We did everything. This week, my mind after that was sent onto the path of marketing material, right? And I remember magazine ads, right, where they have to sum up their whole game in less than 5 words, right? Back of the box, what do you say about your game? And so I have here 5 either marketing quotes or back of the box quotes for 5 video games. I will give you the quote. I will give you 3 options for the game and for what game it's from, and whoever's right wins.
Okay.
Wait, wouldn't that be advantageous to Americans if it's just American box art?
Well, it doesn't matter, Saf.
Well, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Americans have better box art anyway, Seth. Come on.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I've seen your Legacy Goku 2 box.
I object. Okay, that's an outlier.
Have you seen that Breath of the Wild box in Europe? It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Have you seen that Spyro fucking PS4
the Yeti?
box art?
Seize the Yeti. First up, we have marketing material. The truth will change you. Is that A. Deus Ex Human Revolution, B. Silent Hill 3, or C. Assassin's Creed Revelations? Moose, you're up first.
That sounds like a Deus Ex thing, I guess. So I'll go with Deus Ex.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, my first thought was the Deus Ex thing too, so I'm gonna go with that.
Okay, Saf.
Silent Hill.
Okay, and Noah.
That's not Silent Hill, but I'm gonna go with Deus Ex.
You are right. It is Deus Ex Human Revolution.
Human Revolution. It just sounds like something they would do. You know, it's like
Very serious. Very
I know
serious.
it was definitely
Never,
was not Silent Hill because I have all Silent Hill games, at least one.
never
I don't
forget
remember
what was
anything from
what was mankind divided. It was human. It was Android apartheid was the slogan for that game, and it got a lot of pushback because it's you're asking for trouble talking about that. Next up we have No Cover, All Man. Is it Duke Nukem Forever, Serious Sam 3, or Bulletstorm for the PS4?
Oh, that's a real toughie.
First up is Brandon.
I'm gonna go with Serious Sam 3.
Okay, Muzamil. Oh, it's not
Honestly,
Muzamil, Saf.
okay.
Serious Sam's 3.
Noah.
Oh, Duke Nukem would have been cornier. I think Serious Sam is a safe bet.
Okay, and Moose.
Man, see, it feels like it just sounds like I'm copying them, but I also had the same thought that it's Serious
That's
Sam.
fine. You can all. Serious Sam is the correct answer, so you got it right.
Yeah.
Yay.
I did.
All right.
That just seemed like a Serious Sam thing.
Yeah.
Serious Sam just is literally just rooms and rooms and waves of enemies. That's all that game is.
No cover, baby. That's what they're saying. They're saying we're not doing that Gears of War garbage. We're gonna be a worse game.
I mean, you're not. Where's the lie?
Where's the line? Next up is Evil is Back. Is it
That's just stupid.
A. Darksiders 2, B. Overlord 2, or C. Diablo 3? Noah.
Ooh. I'm gonna go with Overlord 2.
Okay, Muzamil.
I'll go with Diablo. Yeah.
Okay, Brandon.
I'm gonna go with Overlord 2.
And Saf.
Overload.
It was Diablo 3.
Damn.
See, my thinking was the Ultimate Evil Edition. You know, it's like it writes itself.
Stupid.
It's a stupid slogan.
I wouldn't have expected that from Diablo.
No, not from
It's-
Yeah,
Diablo.
I gave them more credit. That's how I was like.
It's literally called the
No,
Ultimate
Diablo
Evil
is
Edition.
glitching,
It's like-
man. Come on.
or something like. Is that what it's called? I'm pretty sure. But
That's
yeah,
the PS4 360 version. This is
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
PC, but yeah.
Oh, okay, but you know what? Yeah. So,
But
but
still,
that,
they love using the word evil.
yeah.
Next up, we have Nothing is Forgiven and Nothing is Forgotten. Is it? No. Is it A, Mass Effect 3, B, Medal of Honor for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, or C, Red Dead Redemption Saf?
Sounds like a Medal of Honor type thing. I'm just gonna go for the Medal of Honor.
Okay. Noah.
Red Dead Redemption.
Brandon.
I'm gonna go with Red Dead Redemption.
Muzamil.
What was the third one?
It was Mass Effect 3, Medal of Honor for the 360, or Red Dead Redemption.
Medal of Honor, I guess.
It was Red Dead
Ah,
Redemption.
Yeah.
So we have that was my last one. Brandon, Noah, Saf, Moose, all tied with 3 points. So
Great.
Oops.
How?
I have a tiebreaker. Well, hopefully this will work. You all have to guess, I guess, different numbers on this one. But sometimes a marketing slogan isn't necessarily a slogan. Sometimes it can just be a sound effect. And none is probably more well known right now than the switch click.
Yeah.
So I went to the initial, when they released in October 2016, I believe. the initial unveil of the Nintendo Switch, how many Switch clicks are there in that 3-minute and 30-second video?
Oh boy.
Wait,
Moose
you cut out
had-
there for a second. What was it? How many Switch clicks in what video?
In the Switch unveil video. This is between Brandon, Noah, and Moose. Moose had 3 points first, so he's going to go last.
Yeah.
Whoever's closest wins. So, Brandon, give me your guess for how many Switch clicks.
Oh man.
Can we just have the countdown
Stupid
be the
guess.
Switch clicks right now?
Is it closest without going over?
Yes.
Oh, really closest, just closest.
Okay.
Just closest. Closest without going over is just whoever would go. Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna go with 16.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Noah.
I'm going with 20.
All right, and Moozamil.
I want to say closer to 12 or less, probably, but I'll stick with 12.
The answer was 7 Switch clicks.
Oh, yes!
What? No way. There were more
They
than
used it-
7.
There was 7 different scenes in that 3-minute video, and every time they cut from one scene to the other, there was a Switch click. There was the guy playing Zelda. Yeah.
Sorry, go. I was gonna guess 6, but I was like, you know what? Like, these guys get so fucking high. I can just, I just gotta get
Yeah.
the low.
But you know what that means? It means those Switch clicks, the Switch clicks made an impact.
Yeah.
If we had done the January unveil, it would have been like 30.
Oh, it would have been like
there was
3
a ton
million.
of them.
Like, just at the beginning of that, it was like click, 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 click. It was like,
I just loved it. But
Maybe I was thinking about the wrong.
Yeah,
thing.
probably.
But that was it. That was the game. Moozamil wins by the hair of his chinny chin chin.
yes.
So he gets the final phrase and gets to make the game next week. But now we get to move on to the widely beloved, much acclaimed, frankly, just has been described in the New York Times and Time Magazine as the greatest podcast segment in the history of mankind. The List.
The list.
First.
Which you could follow along in the paste bin below.
Oh, look at a professional like this guy. So this week on The List, we have our friend Noah picking a game. Last week we had Saf choose Cave Story Plus. It got to number 11 on the list, just below. It's Weird Stepchild / Son Shovel Knight Treasure Trove. Noah, this week, what are you bringing to this table?
I am bringing Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh baby, that's a
PS1
big one.
game.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
There's half of a genre's name comes from this game.
Oh yeah.
Metroidvania, baby.
Which I always thought was very weird because Metroid came so way before this game, but then the genre became Metroidvania.
Yeah.
That's a statement on how much Castlevania Symphony of the Night did
Yeah.
for the industry.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night was a Metroid game before Metroidvania was a thing.
So, Noah, we've danced around this. Then, what is Castlevania Symphony of the Night in more specific words?
Oh, well, it takes Castlevania and gives it the map system that the Metroid games had, the older ones. I guess, no, not the older ones. Super Metroid, I guess, would be the best example.
Mm-hmm.
Where you go through this, you navigate through this giant castle, try and hunt down Dracula, kill all his monsters, and basically save humanity from Dracula.
Now, there is a couple things added on to this. One, much heavier RPG mechanics than in previous games, right?
It kind of it strived away quite a bit from like the original Castlevanias, where it was just a simple platformer, linear, go from point A to B. Every end of stage has a boss, defeat the boss.
Yeah.
That's it.
The most you did in Castlevania, like the first games, was you would pick up like the upgraded whip by hitting certain candles, right?
Yeah.
Where with this one, there's armor, there's boots, there's different weapons. You use a sword instead of a whip.
You can use a lot of different weapons, yeah.
There's all
And
kinds of
you
them.
also have spells.
Yeah. Enemies have drop rates. There's just a ton going on in this game. It's really like also has still some of the best pixel art in the game.
Oh yeah,
It's
no,
gorgeous.
the sprite work on that was
Yeah.
fucking gorgeous. Like it holds up even to today's standards. It's really well done. The animations were really well done as well. Just the simple jogging of the character that's the one sprite that you constantly see on screen is him jogging. It looks so nice and smooth. For that, it's like to achieve something at that time. And when did it come out? 2000? No, 1998. Was it 1998?
I think it was 90. It was either 97 or 98.
I think it was 97.
Well, maybe 97.
I think
yeah.
it was 97 because it was during the crazy year of just like a million video games.
Yeah.
And I think that because at the time, everyone was pushing for the old franchises to be in 3D, right? Like it was just because it was
Even
the new hotness.
Konami.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Castlevania 64 exists, right? And like, look at
we
how
don't talk about that one.
yeah, and look how Symphony of the Night aged in comparison to Castlevania 64. But at the time, it felt like a weird, crazy move. Like why would you still be making a dumb 2D pixel art game? But now, where you look back and we say that was obviously the correct call.
And ever since they made that one, they that's what they chose for Castlevania to be. That was the new direction.
Yeah.
That was the Resident Evil 4 to Castlevania.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they followed that direction. Well, later on, it started going downhill, but this was the best of their time, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, they saved that franchise.
Yeah.
yeah. And the thing is, like, they got. I mean, like, we don't think about it, but Castlevania was like a near yearly franchise for a while. Basically after Symphony of the Night, like with all the GBA games and all the DS games existing as they do, like
They're all so good.
yeah, and they all build off this core base.
Yeah.
That I think I still like Symphony of the Night maybe the most out of all of them, but like they're all very good.
Yeah.
So all
But,
that being
like,
said,
Just want an extra note. The theme, the Castlevania theme, like the horror gothic theme, they nailed it to a T.
yes,
And especially with the music, it has all these there's all these different variations of music, and yet it all fits in so well to the atmosphere. They did such an incredible job on that.
and we'll get to this more as we deliberate, but also like just the transitions of the different types of environments, right? Like that they are so smooth and you don't really notice them, but like you look back and you think like, man, I've been through this Coliseum, I went through like just the normal hallways, this huge library, like the top of the castle, like just there's so much that they explore in that same idea of this one just shifting strange building that is controlled by Dracula, right? And is the world itself makes sense as an obstacle to you because he's warping it as you go. But all those things being said, we spoke very highly of it. Where do you think you would like to see it on the list, Noah?
I personally want to put it at number 9.
Number 9. So that is below Super Mario Brothers, but above Dragon Ball Fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I would put it at number 6.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll go that high. I think people would agree.
Put it at I was thinking number 8.
Number 8. So, what were you thinking, Saf?
Why do you think it's better than Earthbound?
Why do you think it's better than Earthbound?
Mhm.
I think it's better than Earthbound for a couple of reasons. I think that a thing I wanted to touch upon is the inverted castle is one of the coolest secrets in any video game. That it does and this is just a specific point, but that when you beat the game, the ending is strange. It doesn't feel right, and if you go back to it, there's to unlock the true ending of the game, you unlock a mode where the whole castle is flipped upside down. And so suddenly all the ceilings you saw, they designed them as levels. They designed them as a whole nother way to progress. That they, without you even realizing it, they hit a whole nother game on top. Literally on top of the original game that you played. And I think that's like when I remember as a kid, I heard about it from someone and I went and I did it. And I was like, this is insane. This is so crazy. But I think that Earthbound is a game that also has a charm and does carry a certain atmosphere. But I think that especially at that time, at that place, with video games, horror was hard. Horror was not a thing you did. Being creepy, Resident Evil like sort of kicked off what we consider the modern horror genre. But like Castlevania does Symphony of the Night does genuinely invoke like both this heavy dour atmosphere to it, and there's just
it's gory as hell too.
Yeah, and so like
I never felt scared.
Well, no, like horror doesn't necessarily make you feel scared, but horror is like recognizing like the gruesomeness or like the seriousness of like what's going on. You know what I mean?
and it transitioned, I think, what was like, because the old Castlevanias are all the bosses in the original one are like universal horror movie monsters, right? It's Frankenstein and it's Wolfman and it's all of those. And I think that they meld those type of monsters with the like weird, like, what's the name, Legion, where it's just this giant ball of a bunch of screaming heads, right? And like and bodies, and as you hit it, just corpses are flying everywhere as you hit these bosses, right? And the sound effects are like are weird and gruesome. I think that all of that combined makes a game that like doesn't get recognized in that way, and just the sheer atmosphere of it, as well as having a crazy design, right? Like Metroid obviously existed before it, but I think the idea of exploring this one environment that all exists together, right? That all works as it does, is the thing that I value a lot in games, which is why I would put it higher than Earthbound.
Okay. Brandon.
Quite frankly, I thought you guys would put it even higher. I thought it would be like.
Brandon, I think
I mean, I
belongs at
would
number
put it
six,
even
by
higher
mine.
if you guys want to. I'm just trying to be a little bit more.
Conservative.
I don't know.
I think you could make an argument. Granted, I haven't played it, so I could be talking bullshit here. But I think you could make an argument for it being number 4 above Phoenix Wright. I don't know how the panel
I
feels
could make
about
that
this.
argument. In my heart, I could make that argument.
Put it above Phoenix Wright, but I just Donkey Kong Country 2 got way lower than I think it should. And Donkey Kong Country 2 to me is the second best Super Nintendo game of all time. It's a Super Nintendo game that I would recommend to everyone, but it is not what I think is the best Super Nintendo game. And the best Super Nintendo game is better than Symphony of the Night. And oh man, Donkey Kong Country 2 is always like my hitting point where I'm like, is it better than Donkey Kong Country 2? Because that game to me is just so good. It's just there's not very many platformers that have outdone it. But if I would maybe put it above Earthbound, I'd probably put it above Left 4 Dead 2. I'd put it above Phoenix Wright, and I think that would be my stopping point too. So
I don't know. How do we feel about?
So if you guys are gonna outrule me with Donkey Kong Country 2,
I'm cool with.
then I'm gonna go with number 4.
Okay.
But
I'll settle for 4.
I'll be cool with 4.
I'm gonna go with number 8.
Saf, how do you feel?
I mean, what's stopping it from being better than The Legend of Zelda?
Nothing, Seth. I can go higher.
I would stop it before Zelda.
Ocarina of Time is my stopping point. And that's
Yeah, I mean, Ocarina of Time. That's the thing that I touched upon. Ocarina of Time set a new precedent for 3D adventure games.
So did Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Castlevania copied something that already was.
I think copy is a little too harsh, but I think that Ocarina of Time holds up in a way that while both being very impressive at the time, it still like it's a game that you can recommend to everyone, right? And I do think that there is just enough in Symphony of the Night where you could get lost or confused that I wouldn't recommend it to every single person. I would recommend it to most people, but not to everyone. And I think
That's my thing.
I think Ocarina of Time is one that anyone could probably pick up and enjoy.
yeah.
That's my Donkey Kong Country 2 thing. It's the game I would recommend
Donkey
to
Kong Country 2 is
everyone
hard, dude. I would not recommend it to
for Super
everyone.
Nintendo. But it starts off good enough where you're gonna get better and you're gonna keep playing. It is hard, but it's also forgiving, and it's gonna teach you how to be good at a platformer. Like my favorite Super Nintendo game of all time, and I'm just gonna say it's Super fucking Metroid, and I would not recommend that to everyone.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
But you would recommend Donkey Kong?
But so I know what you're saying.
But
Yeah.
okay, well, so I just want to get back on track here a second. So
Yeah,
do we want
so-
to put it above Donkey Kong Country 2? Step 1.
Yes.
Yes.
Those who want to do that, say yes right now.
No, but I'm
All right, so it's 3-1 right there. All right, so
Okay.
we're gonna bump up all the way to Phoenix Wright. Do you want to put it above Phoenix Wright? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to put it above Ocarina of Time? Yes.
Yes.
No.
Damn it.
Okay, so we did it. We did
Or no? So
it.
I think we have a placement. I think it's
We have it. Number 4.
Castlevania Symphony and of the Night is number 4.
Really good. Really good for that. So that is to top 5. Just get that perspective. Number 1, Breath of the Wild. Number 2, Red Dead Redemption 2. Number 3, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Number 4, Castlevania: Symphony of the Night. Number 5, Phoenix Wright: Ace Attorney. That is the list.
Good top 5.
It's a good top 5, and it's a good list. Now, that is the podcast for the week. Hope you all enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a different format. Hope that was okay. You know, we like to try new things every so often. But it's not the only thing we do, obviously. We do other things on the internet. For example, this week, I'm just going to take the reins if that's okay.
That's fine. Absolutely fine.
I'm because normally we plug. We have a Twitch channel where we stream Monday through Thursday. Sometimes we miss days, but we try our best. Monday's Golf Club with me, Brandon, and Noah. Mostly Brandon and Noah. I try to be there when I can. Tuesday, I play video games on the internet. Last week I played Banjo-Kazooie. It was a treat, but this week I'm going to be playing Pokemon Emerald Randomizer. I might beat the game. Depends if I'm going to be on stream for 4 hours or not. We'll find out together. On Wednesday, we have Brandon playing just whatever he wants. He was streaming Galaga 2 full playthrough over the last 2 weeks. Who knows where he'll go now? You'll find out through our social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. That's where you get the updates, especially Twitter. Follow on there. So follow us on Twitch, by the way. We want to get to affiliates so we can get emotes. That is 50 followers. We're at 23 right now. Help us get there. And then on Thursdays, we have the darling, beloved Safin Noah build a treehouse in Terraria. It's emotional. They're married. It's sweet. It's heartwarming. You should watch it.
We build together.
Now that having been said, rate, subscribe, do all the things you do with the podcast because, gosh darn it, we deserve it. I'm confident this week. Seize the Yeti. But all that having been said, it is now time for the thing that Muzamil has earned through knowing these video game slogans.
Damn right.
The final phrase.
Okay, so I have a message. I have a message to all you idiots on the internet, you trolls, you concerned trolls, you saffs, especially Saf.
Okay.
If you think that Retro Studios for the last 6 years has been working on Donkey Kong, you are the stupidest person on the planet. You're a dipshit and I hate you. Please use some critical thinking. They're obviously not doing Donkey Kong. You will see their game at E3, hopefully. Maybe not, maybe it'll take even longer. But it's clearly not Donkey Kong. So, yeah. Goodbye.